You're live now.
Okay. Welcome, guys. We are going to be doing a casual CrossFit yoga class. This is not just for CrossFitters by any means. It is great for anyone who does functional fitness or just anyone who wants to move their bodies and really get deep into musculature as well as get a nice stretch with a bit of movement. So we're going to be doing a lot with the hips and hamstrings today. We're going to be using a bit of props here. If you do not have those for yourself, just do your best having pillows, blankets. If you have a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a softball, even a hard water bottle, like a hydro flask type situation will work really well. There'll also be a couple of times where you may want or need a strap. Stretching and some know that all of those things are available to you if you have them to gather yourself now or down the road. We're going to go ahead and get started laying on our backs. So starting to find your way to a comfortable position. You can utilize your props here. So I could elevate my knees underneath my props, just giving me a little bit of support there. If I wanted to go into a partial back bend, I could utilize my bolster there as well. If I wanted a little back bend, lots of options. Just trying to find your way to a nice, comfortable position on your back side, whatever that looks like for you. Once you're there, starting to take some nice deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale, maybe sighing out the mouth as we get started. In through the nose. Exhale, big sigh out the mouth, let go. Starting to feel yourself in the space on your mat. Our focus right now this week is on samskaras, or mental and physical and emotional patterns that we find ourselves falling into. It's really normal for humans to have these. Every time we do something, you can think of it like making a little line in the ground. And every time we repeat it, that line gets a little bit deeper, and the deeper it gets, the harder it is for us to move out of that groove. Sometimes those samskaras benefit us and they become really good positive habits. And sometimes they become something that just is a pattern that we repeat over and over and isn't necessary and maybe is a bad thing in our life rather than serving us for the better. So my goal for you guys today is to be as aware as possible of your patterns, of your movement, and just trying to be as mindful of your body and space as you can be. Feeling ourselves rooted into the earth, whatever is in contact with the ground now, just letting yourself sink down. Taking 3 more deep breaths, the deepest of your day, inhaling through the nose. And exhale, big dramatic sigh out the mouth, letting go. In through the nose. Exhale, sighing out the mouth. One more time, in through the nose. Exhale, letting go. And then starting to seal the lips, seeing if we can breathe in and out through the nose. Start to bring some movement into your body, wiggling fingers and toes. Eventually pulling your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. Maybe rocking a little side to side, rolling the knees in little circles. Massaging the low back. And on an inhale, lengthening out, reaching those feet out long in front, reaching your hands up high towards the wall behind you. And exhale, hug just your left knee into your chest, giving yourself a little squeeze here. Again, maybe doing that little rock side to side. From here, rolling into a twist, taking that left leg across the body towards your right side. If it feels good, maybe we reach the left arm out. Maybe we gaze over that left hand. Breathing into the length of your left side. Inhale, taking your gaze back to center, your left hand back to center, and your left knee back to center. Inhale, reaching long. And exhale, hugging the right knee into your chest. Giving a gentle squeeze here. Maybe that little rock side to side or your gentle circles. And twisting towards the left, taking that right leg across the body. Just noticing side to side if one side's feeling tighter than the other. Trying to find yourself as balanced as possible. Noticing those tiny differences. And seeing if we can work them out as the day goes on. Inhale, bringing you back to center. Gaze at the ceiling, right hand in. Right knee back to center. Inhale, reaching long. Exhale, both knees into your chest. Give yourself that big hug, maybe shoulders lift off the ground. And then starting to rock and roll spine. Eventually coming to a nice, easy seat. From here, we're just gonna have one leg across in front of the other. If your hips are really tight, maybe we elevate our hips onto a block or a pillow. That's a great option for you there. From here, we're gonna start to take our left hand back behind us. Inhale, find length in the spine, nice tall torso. And start to reach your right hand across the body to your left thigh. Try not to crank our neck too far, maybe just letting our gaze fall over where our sternum is facing. With every inhale, lift a little higher through the crown of your head. And exhale, try to twist just a tiny bit deeper. Maybe it's just a tiny change that you can feel. Or maybe there's a big visible change. One more inhale, one more exhale. And then reaching your left hand up and over to your right thigh, right knee, and dropping your knees towards the ground, pulling your shoulders apart, dropping your chin to your chest. Feeling those shoulder blades spread on your backside. Inhale, gently lifting back up. Starting to plant our hands behind us, finding our fingertips as close to one another as possible. Inhale, pulling your shoulder blades together, lifting your chest up. And exhale, rolling forward, walking those hands out in front of the body. Trying to find as much length as we can, keeping our hips reaching back, and then sinking into that stretch of the hips. Feeling length along our backside. Inhale, walking both hands back up to center. And then switching the cross of our legs. So opposite leg coming in front or on top, depending on how you're set up. And just following that sequence on the opposite side. Right hand reaches back behind us. Find a nice tall torso and exhale, left hand to right thigh, right knee. Letting your gaze fall over your sternum. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twisting deeper. One more inhale. One more exhale. Inhale, right arm reaches up and over to your left knee. And dropping the shoulders down, dropping the knees towards the earth, spreading the shoulders apart. Chin dropping into your chest. Inhale, rolling up. Pinkies go together behind you, opening your chest up. If it feels good, maybe this time we lift our hips slightly, getting a little deeper back bend. Exhale, hips release, hands walk forward, and bowing forward over those legs as far as you can. Keeping the hips pressing back in space as the hands reach forward. Inhale, walks you back up. From here, we're gonna move into a tabletop. So start to uncross those legs, readjust yourself on your mat as you need to. Bending shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And inhale, let your belly drop, look up at the ceiling, gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, reach the spine towards the ceiling. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, spine lifts up. Working through 3 more cat-cows on your own breath. If it feels good to turn your fingers back towards your knees to grab a little wrist stretch, to move a little side to side, rocking front to back. Find what feels good to you. And after your last cat-cow, your 5th cat-cow, we're gonna start to reach those hips up and back, pressing our way into our first downward facing dog of the day. Lifting those hips up and back, thinking about spreading the mat beneath you. Driving your chest back towards your thighs, heels towards the floor. Finding whatever movement you need here, maybe pedaling out the feet, wagging your hips from side to side. And on an inhale, start to peek forward, gently tippy-toe your feet towards the top of your mat. Finding your way into your first forward fold of the practice. If you need the blocks to help bring the earth a little closer to you, that's fine. Bend your knees as much as you need. Giving yourself a little space to just work into this first forward fold. And on an inhale, slowly rise up one spine at a time. So the shoulders stack over the hips, crown of the head the last thing to lift. Inhale, shoulders into your ears. And exhale, relax, pull them down the back. Start to let your eyes come to a close. Maybe lifting up our toes, feeling the 4 points of the feet on the mat. Feeling ourselves sinking, rooting down into the earth, feeling ourselves in space. Gently blinking the eyes open, and on an inhale, lift up, reach up, gaze up at the thumbs. And exhale, hands through heart center as you forward fold. Again, bend the knees as much as you need here. Inhale, find length in the spine, reaching the crown of the head forward, the hips back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank pose. From here, dropping our knees to the mat, dropping our shoulders between our hands. Then inhale, rolling forward into a cobra. Tapping our nose down, exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Just trying to build some heat in the body with some sun A's. And exhale, step hopper, float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, folding deeper. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more times through that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank pose. 1 more time, knees, chest, chin. Exhale, hands with chest between your hands. Inhale, roll through. Exhale, tap the nose down, press back, downward facing dog. Taking 2 more breaths in your down dog, settling in, noticing any changes in the body every time we come back to this space. On your next inhale, looking forward, step or hop the feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart center. 1 last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step hopper, float back to that plank. Any vinyasa here that you like, if you want to move forward into a chaturanga, if that's going to serve you today, find that. Or maybe working through that knees, chest, chin, or just working back to downward facing dog. From here, we're going to let our big toes come together, let our knees slide as wide as the mat, and send our hips back to our heels. Taking 5 breaths here in our child's pose. Again, feeling your body in space, noticing your breath on your body, seeing if you can feel your belly expand into your thighs. Being mindful of whatever rhythms and patterns we're moving through, and being honest with whether they are serving us or not. Not just doing something one way because it's how we've always done it, but choosing something with intention, with care for what your body is asking and needing today. From here, we're going to start to move into our flow for today that we're going to do 3 times through. So when you're ready, start to pick yourself up into a downward facing dog, lifting those hips up and back. From here, we're going to inhale, lift our left leg high towards the ceiling. And exhale, pull our left knee into our chest, stepping the left foot between the hands. From here, drop the right knee down onto the mat and untuck those right toes. From here, we're going to start to draw our chest up nice and tall as we can get it. And then starting to open up the shoulders. So maybe we lift our hands up and back, maybe interlacing the fingers and pulling our hands back. If it feels good, maybe opening up into a cactus arm. Just keeping on pressing the heart open as our hips drive forward. Exhale, bring those hands down to frame the left foot and walk your hands back, straightening out the left leg. Our half splits, keep pulling the toes up towards the ceiling, letting length in the spine, not just rounding forward. Inhale, walk back forward, hands inside the left foot. From here, turn your left toes out at a 45-degree angle, and then press your left knee out towards the edge of your mat, doing a nice stretch through the outer edge of your left hip. From here, we're going to work into a fun little transition. We're going to start to bring ourselves back to center. Take your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. Straighten the left leg and take your right hand to the back of your mat. Press your hips open, so we're in a supported side plank. Take a second to just feel yourself get to that position. Keep thinking about pushing your hips towards the wall in front of you. Our hands are now at what was the back of our mat. Left leg is long towards the front of our mat. From here, we're going to push our hips back, so our butt comes down just behind our right foot. Our left leg should be pointed towards the top of our mat. Right foot is inside the left thigh. Start to turn your belly towards that left leg and start to walk out, bowing forward over the left leg. This is where it might be helpful to have a strap and left leg with a bit more help with your strap. If that transition was a little tricky for you, no worries. We'll have the opportunity to play with it a little more later on. From here, start to inhale, walk yourself back up tall. We're going to come out of it the exact same way we came in. So right hand back towards the back of your mat. Press into your right shin, lift the hips up and open. From here, walk your hands in front of your right thigh. Walk all the way to the top of your mat into that low lunge. From here, we're going to tuck our right toes, lift your right knee off the mat, plant the right hand down, and inhale, reach your left arm high. From here, we're going to come back to center and inhale, reach all the way up into our crescent lunge. Starting to challenge our balance a little. From here, we're going to work into a little side bend. So start to grab your right wrist with your left hand. Inhale brings you back to center. Sink the right heel to the ground. Tee the arms open into a warrior two, looking out over your left middle finger. Side bending the opposite way. We're going to turn our left hand up towards the ceiling. Tip that. Keep bending into your left knee into our exalted warrior. Inhale, lift you back up. Square your hips back to the top of your mat, back into your crescent lunge. And from here, We're gonna start to tip our chest forward, take all of our weight towards our left foot, and try to bring our right foot forward to meet the left into a chair pose. Good, working on some balance here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step, hop, or float back into your plank. Option for vinyasa here or skipping it into your downward facing dog. So that's our flow on side number 1. We're gonna do it on side number 2. And we'll end up doing it 2 more times, adding just a little variation at the very end. If at any point you just need to take a break or you're not feeling a pose, don't be afraid to skip it. Do what's gonna be right for you. Opposite side, inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot through between the hands. Drop the left knee down to the ground and start to walk yourself up as tall as you can in that low lunge. Maybe we start to reach the hands up, interlace the fingers, pull the hands back. Maybe we drop our elbows, pulling our chest open. Exhale, planting the hands, walking the fingers back. Bowing forward over the right leg, pulling the right toes up towards the ceiling. Inhale, walk back forward, hands inside the right foot. Right toes out at a 45-degree angle, and twist, taking your right hand towards that right knee, pressing the hips open here. Inhale brings you back to center. Here's our weird transition. So left foot turns towards the long edge of your mat. Left hand goes back. Right leg straightens, hips open up. Supported side plank. Taking a second to feel that out. Hips are over your left knee, right leg is long. From here, push your butt back. So your right leg is long, your left foot is inside the right thigh. From here, turn your belly over your right leg and start to walk out into your Janu Shirshasana. Keep thinking about the belly dropping over the right leg, not letting our left rib cage float up towards the ceiling. Breathing into that length in the back of the right leg. Keep coming back to your breath in every posture, noticing when we're maybe resisting, when we're holding on to tension in places that don't need it, like our jaw. Inhale starts to walk you back up, coming out of that the same way we came in. Left hand towards the back of your mat. Press into your left shin, open the hips up. Walk your hands in front of the left leg, and then all the way to the front of the mat into that lunge. Tucking your left toes so the left knee lifts off of the mat, left hand down, inhale, right arm reaches up, twisting. From here, right hand comes down, inhale, lift up into your crescent lunge. Working on a little side bend and some balance. Right hand grabs left wrist, lift up, and side bend towards your right leg. Inhale through center, left heel to the ground, tee the arms open, gaze over your right middle finger. Keep bending into your right knee. Inhale, right hand tips up. Exhale, tip back, exalting your warrior. Inhale, back to center. Left hip spins forward, crescent lunge. Find that balance, tipping forward with your chest. Weight to your right foot. Left foot steps forward to meet the right. Chair pose. That's going to be the part that changes a little next time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step, hop, or float back, plank pose. Option for your vinyasa here or skipping it. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. Taking breaths there. If you need to pause, maybe instead of downward facing dog, we take a moment into our child's pose. Again, continuing to check in with what you need today, not what your neighbor needs, not what I'm suggesting, listening to your body. We're going to take that flow 2 more times, just speeding it up a tiny bit for rounds 2 and 3. Inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, step through between the hands. Drop the right knee down, and inhale, lift up, reach up. This time, maybe we take the hands behind our low back, interlace the fingers, and pull our hands long. If that doesn't sound great, go back to what we've already done, opening the chest up or just pulling the hands back in space. Exhale, hands come forward, push your hips back, straightening the left leg, pulling your toes towards the ceiling. Hands inside the left foot, turn your left toes out at a 45-degree angle, and then press the knee open, twisting towards that left leg, finding a nice stretch on the outer edge of your hip. Funny transition here. Inhale back to center, right foot towards the wall behind you, right hand towards the back of the mat, straighten the left leg, hips press open, supported side plank. Exhale, hips tip back, butt to the ground. Turn your belly over the left leg. Exhale, bow forward, Janu Shirshasana. Again, utilizing your strap. If that's not there for you, you don't have that prop available, just reach as far down that left leg as you can. Maybe it's grabbing your shin, maybe your foot, finding what's right for you. Inhale, walking out of that. Right hand presses towards the back of the room. Press into your right shin, hips open up. Left hand walks in front of the body, turning all the way back to the top of the mat. Untuck your right toes, tuck your right toes so your right knee lifts off the mat. Plant the right hand down, inhale, left arm reaches up, twisting your lunge. From here, if you're feeling really spicy and you want to lift up into an awkward twist, go for it. Jeremiah is showing that. I'm going to show you coming down and inhale back to your crescent lunge. Once you're in that awkward twist, come back to center, meet us in our crescent lunge. Left hand to right wrist, reach up, inside, bend towards the left leg. Inhale to center, exhale, tee the arms open, warrior two. Inhale, left palm flips up. Exhale, tip back, exalting your warrior. Inhale, lifts you back up. Turn your right hip towards the front of the room. From here, you can go into your chair again, or working into some balance. We're going to start to bring our right knee into our chest. And this might be as far as you go, or maybe we start to open up, coming into a tree. If that right foot isn't able to get into that kind of left upper thigh area, then maybe we start to take it down towards our shin, not putting that foot on the knee, sending our knee the wrong way, but it doesn't go. From here, we're going to start to bring that right foot down to the earth and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, float, back plank pose. Option for vinyasa or skipping it. Meeting us in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg high towards the ceiling. Exhale, step it through between your hands. Drop your left knee to the earth. And inhale, start to lift up. Again, we can reach our hands up and back, or maybe finding those hands interlacing at our low back. Pull the arms long down the back, pull your chest open. Maybe our gaze tips up. Exhale, releasing the hands, framing the right foot. Push the hips back, straightening the right leg, toes lift up towards the ceiling. Inhale, rolling forward, hands inside your right foot. Right toes turn out at a 45-degree angle. Take your right hand, press into your right knee, opening up. Finding that stretch in the outer edge of your right hip. Awkward transition, we've got it this time. Inhale brings you through center. Left foot turns behind you. Start to straighten the right leg, left hand to the back of the room. Open your hips up. Supported side plank. Exhale, tip your hips back. Right leg and left foot are in line now. That left knee's bent, turn your belly over your right leg. And walk out into that Janu Shirshasana, bowing forward over the right leg. Again, if things aren't feeling amazing, go at your own pace, skip postures, add things in as feels appropriate for you. Just giving you guys some guidelines with this flow. Feel free to add on, subtract as you need. Inhale starts to walk you back up. Left hand plants to the back of the mat. Press into your left shin. Open up, supported side plank. Exhale, right hand comes in front. Walk all the way to the top of your mat in that low lunge. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Option for your awkward twist here, reaching the right arm back in space, lifting up, or right hand to the ground, inhale, lifting up. If you're in the awkward twist, start to meet us in crescent lunge. Right hand to left wrist, lift up, and side bend. Keep bending deeply into your right knee. Find that balance, inner thighs squeeze together. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Left heel spins down, gaze over your right middle finger. Inhale, right hand tips up. And exhale, tip back, exalt your warrior. Inhale brings you back up. Square your hips to the front of the room. Again, our challenge for our balance, we can come into our chair or start to bring that left knee into your chest. And then from there, turning our left foot as high as we can, avoiding the right knee. If it feels good, maybe we float our arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe we look up, changing our gaze, finding our balance, rooting down into the mat while lifting up through the crown of our head. Releasing the left foot to the ground, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hand, step, hover, float back, plank pose. Option for a vinyasa, but we're skipping it. Meeting in that downward facing dog. We'll take 3 more breaths here in down dog. Again, option to skip it and go to a child's pose if you need. We're going to take that flow one more time through with one last variation for our balance pose at the end. And then we'll slow things down a bit. Again, options to change this flow up as much as you need the last time through. Inhale, lift that left leg high. Exhale, left foot through between the hands, drop your right knee down. Inhale, lift up. Any variation you like, pulling those shoulders open, opening up your chest. Jeremiah and I both showing you some different options. Exhale, hands plant, rocking your hips back. If a fuller splits is in your world, feel free to change this up a little bit, maybe walking that left foot forward, living your life. Inhale, rocking back forward, bending into that left knee, both hands inside the left foot. Turn the left toes out at that 45-degree angle and twist, taking that left foot out towards the side, left knee towards the side. Last time through our awkward transition on this side, inhale, left foot back to neutral. Turn your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. Right hand back, hips open, supported side plank. Exhale, hips back, bowing forward over your left leg, finding that Janu Shirshasana. Moving at your own pace, taking extra breaths where you need it. Inhale draws you back up. Right hand to the back of the mat. Press your hips open. Walk your left hand back to the top of the mat, bending into your left knee. Tucking your right toes, right knee lifts off the mat. Inhale, reach up. Option to come into your awkward twist or come through center. We'll meet in a crescent lunge. Hips squaring forward. Left hand to right wrist, lift up. And side bend. Inhale to center. Right heel spins down, arms T open, gaze over your left middle finger. Inhale, palm lifts up. And reach up and back, finding your exalted warrior. Keep bending into your left knee. Inhale brings you back to center, hips square back in front. This time, we're going to start to tip our weight forward, bring that right foot up and across that body into a one-legged chair. Nice little stretch through the outer edges of our hips. If you fall out of it, no big deal, just try again. If you want to go back to a tree pose instead, that's totally fine. Inhale draws you up, and exhale, tip forward, forward fold. As we're in the home stretch, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step hopper, float back. Plank pose, option for that vinyasa, or skipping it. Downward facing dog. Taking 3 more breaths in our down dog. One last time to move through this flow. To listen to your body, to recognize what patterns are serving you and what patterns you maybe need to let go of. One more chance. Inhale, right leg reaches high. Exhale, right foot through between the hands, drop the left knee down. And inhale, lift up. Finding whatever variation is serving you today, opening up your chest, keep pressing the hips forward. Exhale, hands plant, pushing the hips back, right toes pull out towards the ceiling. Maybe deepening that splits if it's there for you in your practice. Inhale, rocking forward, hands come into the side, right foot. Right toes out at a 45-degree angle, right hand to right knee. Pressing to the blade of your right foot, finding nice stretch through the outer edges of your hips. Inhale through center, left toes towards the back of the mat, left hand to the back of the mat, and open up into your supported side plank. Exhale, hips back, left foot inside the right inner thigh, turn your belly towards the right leg, and bow forward. Janu Shirshasana. Nice big breath here, one more time. Inhale, walking yourself back up, left hand to the back of the mat, pressing in. Right hand starts to come in front, walking to the top of your mat, low lunge. Tapping the left toes, left knee lifts up. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Option to come through center into your crescent lunge or coming into your awkward twist. Inhale through center, right hand to left wrist, reach up, side bend towards the right leg. Inhale through center, exhale left heel down, tee the arms open, warrior 2. Inhale, right palm lifts up, exhale, tip back, exalt your warrior. Inhale up through center. Left hip squares forward. Last little balance challenge here. Start to tip your weight towards that right leg. Left leg lifts up across the body. Flex those left toes. And sink as deep as you can into that one-legged chair. Good job. Take a moment. If you fall out, no big deal. Just try again. Inhale, lifting up. Left foot releases to meet the right. Exhale, forward fold. From here, we're going to start to walk our feet out as wide as the mat. Sinking our hips a little bit lower, bending into our knees. Maybe clasping opposite elbows. Wagging the hips a little side to side. From here, we're going to release our hips all the way towards the floor into a little yogi squat. Maybe rocking the knees side to side. And eventually finding our way to the ground. So if you feel comfortable, just tipping back onto your bodies. So we're going to start to work into some myofascial work here. That's where our lacrosse ball, tennis ball, really hard water bottle is all going to come into play. So the first one that we're going to do is getting into the outer edges of our hips. So we're going to start by taking our right leg in towards our chest and just taking it across the left knee. From here, we're going to lift our hips up just enough to slide that ball underneath. And then we're going to gently take that weight off of the left hip and onto the right. Now, if you do not have a lacrosse ball, then we can instead take that right hand or right foot into our left hand or towards the crease of our left elbow. we're gonna just let the hard floor do the work. It's not gonna be quite as deep as if you have a lacrosse ball, but you'll definitely feel some things there. Okay, we're gonna take about 5 to 10 more breaths there. So once you find a spot that's a little bit ouchy, try to just hang out there rather than resisting the urge to immediately move away. And just gently breathe into it. Coming back to those big deep breaths from the start of our practice. Moving in towards the center of your body, not just out towards the edge of that hip. There's plenty of stuff to be found in there. Taking one more big breath on this side. And then releasing, sitting over towards your left hip, taking that lacrosse ball, switching sides. Again, this side you'll take the left leg across the body. Shift your weight towards your right side, take that lacrosse ball underneath you, and then start to lift your right hip off the ground, gently easing onto the lacrosse ball on your left side. If you've been stuck sitting a lot, if that's a big part of your life, your day-to-day being, then this is a great way to just start to open up those hips. A lot of time, if we have back pain, it can be related to just being in a seated position for a really long time, and our hips and hamstrings all being really tight and taking some tension into our back. Taking a couple more breaths on this side. Again, trying to gently ease into the areas that are extra ouchy, rather than just quickly moving away. One more breath on this side. And gently releasing. Options. The first one's going to be with the lacrosse ball. So if you have that with you and you just want to go for it, then you can kind of stop listening to me after I go over this. So we're just going to come to our bellies and taking that lacrosse ball into our chest. Once we're there, we're going to play around with moving our arm. So working through some kind of raising your hand like you're in class as a student in elementary school, or maybe working through some snow angels. Once you've moved the arm around a couple times in a spot, you can just adjust it slightly and go from there. If a lacrosse ball is not there for you, we can do similar situation down on the ground, reaching our right arm out, left hand towards the floor, and taking our left foot toward with that variation, or quite as facile, but it is a great option. I would work in and out of that a couple times, changing up the shape of your arm. So not always being in that T, moving into a Y, a W, lots of different options there. Again, kind of readjusting that lacrosse ball if you're taking that variation. Remembering to breathe deeply. Just because we're not flowing in and out of postures doesn't mean that we should stop breathing. Switching sides if you've not done so already. Again, if you don't have a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a softball, lots of different options for that kind of trigger point work. That's going to get a little more into your fascia, a little deeper into your musculature rather than just a stretch. Once you feel pretty balanced on that, we can start to set that lacrosse ball off to the side, starting to come up to a kneeling position and then eventually onto our bottoms. So this is where it's going to be really helpful to have some props and some assistance for you. This first one we're going to move into is going to be a variation on our pigeon. So we're gonna bring our feet about as wide as the mat. You're gonna want your bolsters or blocks or whatever you have as support off to your right side. From here, I'm gonna start to drop both of my knees towards the right. So I start to make kind of a 90-degree angle with my right shin and quad, and then same thing on my left side. From here, if I wanna get deeper into my hip, make it more like a pigeon, I'm gonna take that bolster parallel to my shin and start to bow forward. If I want more of a twist with this, I'll take the bolster parallel to my quad and I'll start to lay back more. If it's not super comfortable for you, add more support, use another block or bolster, adjust your knees around as you need to find a comfortable position for you. And once we're here, and you feel pretty settled in, we're gonna take 10 breaths. Coming back to that idea of feeling your breath on your body, seeing if you can feel your belly expand into your shin or your thigh or into your blankets or bolsters. Allow yourself to hear your breath, to feel it, to be fully present and aware of your breath. Noticing if other thoughts are floating in, if you're holding on to tension in areas like your shoulders or your jaw, where we don't really need it. Taking one more big breath, letting go of any last tension that you can. And gently, carefully rising back to seated. And we'll switch sides. So starting to bring the knees back towards the ceiling. Taking that bolster or blanket over to the other side. Dropping both knees towards the left. Trying to get those knees and shins and quads as squared off and 90-degree angles as you can. Try for a deeper twist. Taking about 10 breaths on this side. Feeling your belly expand and release with every inhale and exhale. If your mind is wandering, coming back to your body, back to your breath, it's starting to press on, you can wait a few moments longer. Giving yourself these final gifts of being in the present moment. And after your 10th breath, when you feel balanced and ready, drawing yourself back up to seated, bringing those knees back towards the ceiling. And from here, we're going to start to come onto our back sides for one last supported posture. So a couple of options for you here. We can take our bolster or a block or blankets or pillows along our low back and start to lay back for a nice little supported fish type pose. We can do this with our legs long, with our knees bent up towards the ceiling, or feet together, knees splayed wide. That's option one. Or what I'm going to be doing, and what I really love, if you have something a little harder, a little firmer, we can work into a supported bridge. So knowing our block has a couple of different levels. If you're working with the block, we're going to lift our hips up and find that block just under our pelvis, and allowing ourselves to soften into our blocks, into our bolsters, our pillows, whatever you're using for support, trying to release into those objects. Taking 10 more breaths here, letting any tension dissipate. Allowing yourself to fully surrender. After about 10 breaths, you can start to slowly lift yourself up if you're in that supported fish, or roll to one side, roll into your forearms to come up. Or if you're in that supported bridge, lifting your hips just enough to slide that block out from underneath you. Maybe a gentle little rock side to side. Moving through any final postures that are calling to you today. So maybe that's another twist, maybe both knees in towards our chest this time. Maybe that's a happy baby, pulling our knees towards our armpits, feet towards the ceiling. Maybe a shoulder stand or plow is calling to you. Maybe you're ready to come back into that final resting pose, into your shavasana, letting the legs go long. Maybe you want to come back to using a prop, a bolster, a blanket, a block to support you in your shavasana. Letting the palms float up towards the ceiling, if that feels comfortable for you. Or maybe you bring your hands to your belly and your chest to feel your breath. Finding whatever position is going to serve you here. Letting your eyes come to a close. Letting go of any last control over your breath. And fully releasing into the earth. As our bodies come to stillness, noticing if our minds start to wander. Imagine yourself gazing up at a nice, beautiful, brilliant blue sky. Feel your whole body sinking into the earth. Every point of contact growing heavy, surrendering down. As you gaze up at that brilliant sky. Give a a thought starts to float its way in, imagining it like a cloud, taking up just a little space in the sky, allow yourself to notice it, and then let it float right by, bringing yourself back to the brilliant blue. If another thought floats in, just another cloud passing by, maybe the sky above is almost entirely blue for you. Hardly a thought has crossed your mind. Maybe it's starting to look a lot more cloudy than blue. Every new thought that floats into your head is another opportunity to acknowledge the thought and then to let it go. Another opportunity to try again, to come back to your body, back to this moment, back to the blue sky. And your thought isn't good or bad, it just is. Just letting the moment pass and coming back to yourself. Starting to bring yourself back to your physical being, away from the blue sky and the clouds, back to your fingers and toes, nodding your head from side to side, rolling your ankles and wrists, your knees and elbows, gently letting that movement work in towards your center, moving at your own time, your own pace, in your own way. And when you are ready, not a moment sooner, bringing the knees into your chest and finding your way to an easy seat. Allowing the eyes to remain closed for a few more moments. Finding your hips sinking down into the ground, the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. And finding your hands pressing together at heart center in the space in between. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. And as you go about your lives, the next few hours, days, weeks, to feel yourself in space. Maybe taking the time to close your eyes, to feel your feet planted firmly on the ground. And to notice what you need. Notice if you're falling into patterns just because it's the way you've always done things. Or maybe you need to break out of those to find something that's truly serving you, to carve a new path. Bowing your chin to your chest. The light, the love, the spirit in me sees, honors, and bows to the light, the love, the spirit within you. Bowing forward to seal your practice. Namaste. Thank you, guys. I know how to do that. Beautiful.
Thank you, Anna.
Stream. Thanks, guys. Feel free to ask questions if you have them.